Hello everyone and welcome to Mobility Academy. I'm the flexibility guy, Coach Elia. And in today's video I want to show you a couple of strategies you can use to improve your shoulders flexion range of motion, which is this one, alright? But before I start, let me show you my brand new book, Shoulders Range, which is the complete playbook to master your shoulders and upper body flexibility. So if you want to stretch your shoulders and upper body, I strongly suggest you check out this book. Follow the link in the description down below. Alright, now with that said, let's start. Alright guys, so I want to show you a couple of strategies you can use to stretch your shoulders in flexion, alright, which is this one. So in whatever kind of movement you want to do where you have to bring your arms overhead like this, you need shoulder flexion flexibility. But as you move your arms like this, you're going to move also this area of your body like here, your thorax, alright? So since your ribs are going to be moved as you bring your shoulders in flexion, if you move your ribs, if you move your rib cage in a different position, this may change also the stretch on your shoulders. Alright, so you have two main ways to move your rib cage in order to stretch your shoulder flexion. Alright, so the movement stays exactly the same. We're going to stretch our shoulders like this, but we need to focus our attention on the rib cage. All right? Now, there are two main positions we want to master. Ribcage flexion or spine flexion, all right? Where you basically bring the front part of your ribs in and the back part of your ribs, because you have ribs also on your back, out. So you inflate this area here and you kind of pull your front ribs in. This is really important to understand. And the second one, which is how the majority of people often stretch, is spine extension, where you flare your front ribs out and you arch your back ribs. But let me tell you that when you do something like this, you're going to compensate the stretch, because as you bring your arms overhead, your rib cage wants to open out in the front, like here. All right, so as you do something like this, sure, you're going to stretch, you're going to mobilize your spine in extension, so you're going to improve this kind of flexibility, but you're not going to improve that much your shoulder flexion. That's why I'm talking about this, because you have to master the difference between the two positions in order to stretch better. And of course, you can combine the two. There's not one better than the other. They are just different. All right, so let me show you with a very basic exercise how to do these two strategies, all right? So let's start with the first one. Let's start with the chest in position, with the ribs in position, inflating the back ribs. So you want to start in a shoulder flexion position. So you flex your feet, you keep your arms straight. Now, from this position, what you want to do is to bring your front ribs in, and you want to curve your back spine as much as possible. As you can see, I'm not working on my pelvis. My pelvis stays neutral. I'm just working on my upper body here. I'm not moving here, I'm moving here. All right, so ribs in, back part of my ribs curved, and now from this position, remaining like this, I want to bring my shoulders in flexion like this. Can you see that? I'm just opening through my shoulders without moving my upper body at all. This stretches in a very good way my lats, this stretches in a very good way my pecs and all my upper body, my shoulders in general, because I'm not compensating with my upper body. Now the second kind of range is this. As you can see, I'm letting my upper body arch and I'm going in, of course I'm doing shoulders flexion, but it's different. Can you see how I'm arching my back in order to go in the position? This is equally good, of course, but it's not the same, because here, if I am here and here and here, can you see that I have a very limited range of motion compared to this one. But as you can see, it's not, the range of motion is not coming from my shoulders. It's coming from my upper body. But if you want to stretch your shoulders, it's really important that you understand the difference, because you don't want to stretch your upper body. Maybe you just need more shoulders flexibility. All right. So as you do your shoulder stretches, you gotta pay attention to this. So as you are here, remember, I want to keep my pelvis fixed. I want to pull my front ribs in. Can you see that? Front ribs in, back ribs out, scapular protraction. I inflate my back ribs, and as I go into the stretch, I really try to maintain that curve on my spine without actually arching my spine at all. And I stay here. Of course, as I'm here, I'm not only trying to keep my ribs in and my body fixed, I'm also trying to push my armpits towards the floor, because this is what creates the stretch. This is really important. So as I go down, of course, I'm trying to push my armpits down because I want to create this stretch. And I can remain here, I can stretch here, etc. But I can also do something like this, where I'm always bringing my armpits down, but I'm arching as well my upper back to go into the stretch. Two very different positions, very, very different, but it's the same stretch. But you gotta understand the difference between these two positions. And of course, this is just an example. Every time you bring your shoulders in flexion, every time you do something like this, both with your arms bent, with your arms straight, you're doing exactly the same. The concept is exactly the same. All right? So every time you stretch your shoulders, you have to think about this. What I strongly suggest you do is pulling your ribs in. This is your standard stretch, because you gotta master how to stretch your shoulders only. Then you can combine another kind of stretch, with this stretch with your ribs out, all right, with your upper back arched, to your stretches, okay? So you wanna do both, but you wanna give priority to the ribs in stretches, because they stretch your shoulders in a complete way, without arching the back and without compensating the position. All right? Of course you can do both. All right? But you gotta understand why. All right, guys? So with that said, let me know if everything makes sense, and if you got any questions, doubts, or if you give this strategy a go, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed the content and help me grow this YouTube channel. All right, guys, it means a lot to me. So that's all for these two strategies for your shoulder stretches. Remember, if you want to master your shoulders flexibility, you have this beautiful book to understand every stretch you can do to mobilize and to stretch your shoulders. All right? With that said, that's all from the Flexibility Guy, Coach Elia. Have a nice stretch and see you in the next video.